Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 575 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever, and coming up on the show, we'll be finding out about a brand new board game, Theatre in a Box, which is coming to a Kickstarter campaign near you very soon. Paul Morrison telling us all about that one. We'll be joined by Lee Price to hear about the film Sam and Dan Get Lost, 98% in the can, coming to a screen near you in the early part of next year. Jamie Russon joins us from Moose's Music Hole to chat about his work. We'll hear from singer-songwriter Max Restaino all about what's going on in his world. We'll have a natter with Aaron James about the world of theatre, and we'll be catching up with Gary Wales all about his not only acting but also clothing line too. That's coming up on this week's show. Actor Gary Wales has had some time on his hands, mostly due to the COVID-19 crisis. Normally, he's busy with work. He joins me now for a bit of a chat. Hello, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, good with me. How are you keeping?
I'm doing well, I'm coping. I'm trying to get through this like everybody else.
Absolutely. It's obviously a bit of a strange time at the moment. But what projects had you been working on in the run-up to lockdown?
Last year, I was in Oklahoma and I shot a movie called The Deal. That will be coming out very soon, so I'm looking forward to that. The teaser trailer just got pitched to us, so it looks fantastic. Like, it looks so good.
It's good to see these things coming along, but the whole situation slowed everything down because without cinemas open, there have been no releases. There's been relatively little unexpected stuff on the likes of TV and Netflix, etc. It's all things that have been planned for a while, and I think they're very much holding a lot of things back. So we're going to get hit with some good stuff during the latter part of the summer into the autumn.
Everything is on pause right now. We are obviously trying to find our ways and means of how to, like, obviously fit the government guidelines and stuff to obviously be on set and be able to do what we need to do on film sets. But as of right now, everything is on pause. Things are starting to slowly creep up, which is good. But I'd say probably around September time we should be back on set and ready to go again.
Yeah, that'd be good to actually get back in action. And what things have you got planned at the moment?
At the moment, I'm due to go back to Oklahoma next year to shoot another feature movie, and I have a 4-year production sequel of a boxing movie that I'm about to work on as well, called Stan. It's about a Scottish boxer that takes on the heavyweight championship, and there's going to be about 4 movies of that, so whether it fails or anything like that, it doesn't matter. We're still going to make those 4 movies.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of uncertainty around, but where you've got good projects, they will go ahead in some way or form. And this has given you a chance to also work on a clothing line as well. I hadn't expected that.
Yeah, so the clothing brand, I started off with obviously my own merchandise and stuff that was just brandy towards me, but then I kind of looked a bit in depth of it, and I came out with Gaw Clothing, which is a limited company. This is one of the shirts here that I'm actually wearing. So it's the shield, the swords, and the crown that obviously represents me, being Scottish and obviously being part of the UK and stuff like that, having the royal field and stuff. So that kind of brand kind of pushed out for me, and obviously having that logo is going to be, it's like a trademark kind of thing. I want it to be known worldwide. I want people to look at it and say, oh, that looks like something from that kind of era. Whereabouts in the world is that? Obviously Scotland, the UK, kind of like Britain kind of thing. So that's what I'm kind of pushing towards. But yeah, so far it's doing really well. That started back in 2017, but I started to really look into it around the 2019 mark, and it's starting to boost up. There's people in America wearing my merchandise and stuff like that. So it's getting there. It's getting pretty popular.
So it's very much a tie-in with the fact that you with your name being out there as well. When you're involved in projects, it's always worth having something to sell on top. And in particular, as over the push that's been going on over the last few weeks and months, that's another great way of having the opportunity to do the promotion. And I know the team you're working with are doing everything they can to keep up with the orders.
Exactly. I mean, my team are working extremely hard to also keep people intrigued and interacted with me, but it is very hard, especially when I have no content to release. But we'll get there.
But are you writing on your own as well as the fact that you'll be appearing in other people's films and projects?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm the executive producer of Stan the Boxing Movie, so we are also trying to work on trying to get that story like concept together to be able to produce those 4 movies for the near future. At the moment, we're looking at about 2023 to start production on that, but at the I'm trying to keep to the smaller projects at the moment to try and keep myself sidetracked a little
Yeah,
bit.
you've got to allow yourself the time to do the work that you need to on the other
Right.
things. But equally, I know that you will want to keep working in front of the camera, as that is something that you enjoy and excel at.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like being in front of the camera is like probably my huge like go-to right now. So I want to really focus on staying in front of the camera.
So, how do people find you, and how do they get hold of the clothing range?
Okay, so you can follow me on social media, Gary A Wales. I've managed to make sure that all my social media is Gary A Wales now. I know a few years ago I did have a few difficulties with trying to obviously get that name on every social media, but now that my name is completely copyrighted, I managed to slide in and
Brilliant.
get money in the correct way. So all my social media is Gary A Wales. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, the whole lot. And also GaryAWales.com is my website where you can then find GOT clothing merchandise on there also.
Well, Gary, good to catch up with you. Looking forward to more on the movie front. Keep us posted, and we'll have a bit of a chat as soon as you've got something which is able to make itself available to the general public.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Theatre in a Box is a brand new concept in board games, looking at the magical world of musical theatre. To tell us more about what is going on and the Kickstarter campaign to fund its launch, I'm joined now by Paul Morrison. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you, Jason?
I'm good. I trust we find you well.
I am very well, coming in live and loud from Sydney, Australia.
Yes, so, I mean, you are not on these shores, but theatre, strangely enough, is important all around the world, isn't it?
Absolutely, and yes, the whole world's a stage, and we decided to turn people's tables into a stage as well.
Okay, so this is a Kickstarter campaign to get a brand new family entertainment game up and running. And the concept itself, it sounds like it's going to be fun, building a theatre and putting on a show.
Yeah, so basically it's a musical theatre board game. It falls into the party board game category where you're basically a performer in a show, and you start at it's a board game, so you've actually got a board to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You work your way from the back of the theatre, going one seat at a time, working your way up towards the front of the theatre, completing challenges, and if you complete the challenges correctly, you earn tickets, and whichever person earns the most tickets as they make their way through the game wins the game at the end.
So, points to be had, fun to be had, and is there any singing involved?
Well, yes, there's 5 categories of questions, and one of them revolves around singing. The questions category spell the word stage. So the first one is an S, which stands for sing. So you either sing the next line of a song out of musical theatre, or you identify shows that by the songs that are in them.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is called Tears and Cheers, which is your chance card, where you either lose tickets for something bad happening, like a wardrobe malfunction, or the microphone guy not putting your sound your microphone on,
Mm-hmm.
or you collect tickets for getting a 5-star review, or stealing a scene from the diva or something like that. So that's your chance category. A stands for theatrical, so that's all theatre definitions, or saying as many musicals as you can, starting with a certain letter of the alphabet, and that sort of thing. G is general knowledge, and so that's all anyone who's a bit of a musical theatre trivia buff, and all the questions are either multiple choice, or something that narrows down the odds. So even if you're not a musical theatre buff, you'll have a chance of getting it right.
Yeah.
And then the last one, and now our favorite category is E, which is entertain, which means you need to sing or dance or mime, charades, hum, whistle, do whatever you need to do according to the card to identify the musical theatre subject, so that other people can guess what you're trying to do. So it's highly interactive, and it's a hell of a lot of fun.
It does sound absolutely brilliant fun, and certainly something for all the family. And yes, okay, you may be singing, you may be dancing, but it's in a family environment, so you haven't got to worry about anybody else seeing how well or how poorly you may perform. It's about having a giggle, and by the sound of
Yes.
things, this has taken a good while to come together. It must be an absolute labour of love. So tell us about how all that started.
Yeah, well, my business partner Brenton, he can be credited with coming up with the idea, which he came up with the idea whilst he was mowing his lawn. This was last year, and we started collaborating with Brenton, his son Flynn, and me, and we started collaborating, coming up with an idea. And then as we were working through it, life got in the way, and it was just put to the side a little bit. And then COVID-19 hit, and I'm from the entertainment industry, so I lost all of my business in one foul swoop. And so we dusted it off and picked up where we left off, and we've developed what we think is an absolute cracker of a musical theatre board game in the process.
It sounds absolutely brilliant. We don't see much of this sort of stuff. We do need more musical theatre in our lives, I think, at the moment. Underground, that the highs, the lows, and the great tunes in between can make a massive difference to the way in which we get on.
I agree. I am devastated that I can't be performing right now. There are just so many shows. I've been doing shows since I was 8 years old. I've been in musical theatre since then, and I'm a third generation performer. And I met my wife in musical theatre, and my kids do shows, and it's a massive hole in my life now that we're not able to perform and rehearse and go to the pub afterwards for a bit of a debrief. It's just it's just something that will definitely fill a void for anyone who loves musical theatre and is champing at the bit to put on a show.
Okay, so we've talked about the fact you work in musical theatre and the like then. So what would you do for your letter E if you get that card during the game?
Oh, I love a bit of miming and a bit of charading. So I'm an ensemble member, a permanent ensemble member. So I like to think that I'll with the E category, I'll do a bit of miming, a bit of charading, and maybe do a bit of charading of singing in the rain or something like that, just to get the chocolates.
Yeah, that has to be done. And this, as we say, is part of a Kickstarter campaign. The idea's there, the working's out. It needs to be turned into a real thing. This is where funding comes in, and this is where people can actually get involved, become part of that Kickstarter, and get some cash behind it, and basically buy the game to make sure they're one of the first families who get to play it.
Yes, well, I'm glad you've explained it so well, because there's a few people that don't understand what Kickstarter is all about. So yeah, I'm glad you're au fait with the whole thing. In that, we upload the idea to Kickstarter. It's a creative site, and people pledge money to support it by buying a game or buying all the expansion packs, or even there is an opportunity if people want to be in the game. If you pay enough, we can actually get a character developed of you, the person that buys it, and actually incorporate them into the game itself. So we're really excited to see what the results are going to be on Kickstarter, and as I said, it's a cracker of a game, and musical theatre is not very well served from a board game perspective. So we thought we would solve that problem.
Absolutely. I think there'll be plenty of people out there absolutely loving the whole concept. And if you are part of an Amdram group, you very regularly get together to perform on stage. If you haven't been at the moment, this could be a great way of getting those, the voice and the whole ethos back and ready for when it is time to return to the stage.
Yeah, we've even designed it so that people can just throw it in their backpack and take it to an after party or anything like that if they're so inclined to do so.
It sounds like it's going to be jolly good fun. Give us all the details of the Kickstarter and how we find it.
Well, you can find out by going to Kickstarter, kickstarter.com, and typing in Theatre in a Box. Or you can just go to theatreinabox.com.au and just follow the prompts from there. But the other alternative is if you want to go onto social media, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram or those other ones that the young people understand that I don't.
And international shipping isn't a problem here.
Not at all. No, we're actually hoping to set up distribution points in the UK, in the US, and in Australia. So shipping anywhere in the world won't be an issue.
You are going to be a global phenomenon. I can see that happening. Theatreinabox.com.au is the website you're looking for, or go into Kickstarter and search for Theatre in a Box. This might be your first time in the magical world of Kickstarter, but there are all sorts of projects, and this sounds like this is going to be one of those that shines and stands out under the spotlight of a great product that people are going to enjoy across the globe. For now, Paul Morrison, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for having me on your show, and thanks for your interest.
Max Restaino has a brand new single and a brand new album on the way, and he joins me now to tell me more about his current music. Hello, sir.
Hi, are you okay?
I'm good, and I trust we find you well. It's been a little while since we last had a chance to meet up and have a chat.
Yeah, it's been a good few years.
Yeah, but good to see you again. And obviously, you and your music are entities which have taken on a whole life of their own, haven't they? What's been going on of late?
So, I've moved away from the sort of pop side of things. I was doing a lot of pop, I think, last time you spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started to do what I started out as, really, which was jazz. I played the saxophone still, so it was a sort of natural progression to go away and do a jazz album. So that's what I've been up to.
But I mean, the thing is, I mean, you and your music, you are hugely talented. You know, with everything that's gone on, with schools tours and things that you've done in the past, you've inspired so many people. And it is about finding the path that you feel most comfortable through, isn't it, in the arts?
Definitely, I think you've got to, like a lot of people say, you've got to be true to yourself as an artist. I think, and definitely the jazz thing, just because I've always done it since I was a kid anyway. But like I said, I moved into pop. But yeah, I just really sort of came back to myself doing this jazz stuff, and it just flowed so easily. The songs were so easy to write, and like I said, there's loads of piano solos and saxophone solos. So yeah, it just came really easily to me, the jazz thing.
So are you just playing the sax on the album, or are you on several instruments?
So I've done a lot of the production myself. I produced the album myself, and yeah, I played piano, saxophone, guitar. Like a nylon string guitar, which is quite nice. Accordion. So I think there's a harmonica as well. I played on a couple of songs. Yeah, and like I said, do the vocals and the BVs myself. So yeah.
So was there any room for anybody else to join you on this, or is it purely a Max production?
Well, I've got my band on it as well. I've got a really cool band. So I got Lawrence on drums, and my bass player. It's really cool. Played a bit of double bass on it, Marcus. So yeah, there's room for the band as well.
So what can we expect as far as the music goes? I mean, we don't necessarily always expect jazz music to come from somebody as young as yourself, even though there are some notable exceptions. But you know, it is a genre which, although a lot of people will buy into, it's normally sometimes older performers we expect with more of a life story to tell. But it doesn't stop you telling tales, does it?
Yeah, I think. Do you know, actually, when I was writing sort of as a younger, well, quite a few years ago, I didn't draw upon real experiences, and you know, you always progress as a writer. Absolutely, I do believe that. So yeah, I think I've moved on in particularly the lyric side. I think the music side's always come quite easily, but particularly the lyric side, I think, has hopefully matured as I've got older.
And what is your favourite track from the album? Is it the single?
I think it is the single, yeah. I'm really happy with how the album's come out, actually, and yeah, the single "Before I Lose Faith" was one that I asked a lot of people, and that was the one that always jumped out at people. So I think, yeah, that sounds like a cool one to go for as the single.
And with the work that you've done, I mean, what are you hoping for now? Because obviously, yeah, international stardom, that's a given. But what else happens from here? Because, I say, for you, your music is much more about a way of life than it is about just trying to get into the charts, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's earning a living from music. I'd love to do maybe in the next year or so, or maybe do my own sort of tour, just smaller sort of venues, and we'll see if we can get that off the ground. I think it's looking pretty cool though. I think I did a gig a few years ago, my own gig in London, and not just a sort of support act, which I've done quite a bit of.
Mm.
And yeah, we had loads of people turn up to that, so it's always a snowball. It always keeps going.
Mm-hmm. And so, are there plans to learn any more instruments? Are there any that you can't play that you'd like to play?
Do you know, I really want to. Well, like I said, I play accordion on the album, and I've done a lot of the horn sections myself. So I play saxophone, but I've really wanted to play trombone myself, because I think that's. I think hopefully maybe that'll be the next instrument, maybe.
Yeah, that one was never that cool at school, was it? Unfortunately.
Well, I don't know, if you're playing jazz stuff, might sound pretty cool.
I think it'll work. And is trumpet as well? Is that another one that you can do?
Possibly. I think it's that might be quite well. I think trombone and trumpet are quite the similar thing. You have to make the same sound to it.
So once
you've
there,
done one, maybe. Yeah.
And obviously, there's the pop stuff is still around and about, isn't it? People can still listen to some of that, but jazz is the current direction. So where do we go to find out all about your latest music and, of course, buy the single once released?
Well, the single is Before I Lose Faith in You, which is out on the 17th of July. And you can pre-order that from my website, which is max-music.co.uk. And that'll be like a pre-order that you can get a hold of the track through iTunes, Spotify, and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's available from my website. Again, that's max-music.co.uk.
And all over the socials as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Facebook, which is Max Restaino. Instagram, which is Max_Restaino.
And spell Restaino for us.
It's Restaino.
So, Max Restaino, search, share, enjoy the music, and be prepared for, from what I've already heard of you and the work that you've done in the past and last time we've spoken, you're a musician sort of old before your time in your talent, but certainly not in your outlook and sound. So it's always sounding fresh.
Absolutely, yeah. Always inspired by the old guys, the older stuff. All them Supertramp, ELO, and all that stuff. It's fantastic. So yeah. So
a great breadth of music and musical knowledge and talent, and there's just going to be no holding this guy back. Look out for him, listen to the songs. But for now, Max, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Did you ever lose faith in something you love? Oh. Did they promise all the things you're dreaming of? Yeah. Did you ever lose faith in the meaning of life? Another dollar and a dime to sacrifice. Drowning in the darkest night, I'm living in the candlelight, and now I see the answer, and my prayers are right. You can turn a spark to a flame, birth the beauty of grace, and lead a guilty man to freedom, and then walk away without shame. Take the very air that I breathe, kill the birds and the trees, tear the stars down from the heavens above, and bring the world to its knees. And you can tie my soul into, or I lose faith in you. Did you ever lose faith in fighting a war? Do you remember what it was we're fighting for? Did you ever lose faith in finding a cure? There never seems to be an answer to it all. I'm drowning in the tears I'm crying, I'm swimming in a sea of lies, and now I see the answer, and my prayers are right. You can turn a spark to a flame, birth the beauty of grace, and lead a guilty man to freedom, and then walk away without shame. Take the very air that I breathe, kill the birds and the trees, tear the stars down from the heavens above, and bring the world to its knees. And you can tie my soul into, or I lose faith in you. When all my friends are gone, you're there by my side. I'll just keep holding on with love in my life.
Lee Price has a brand new film he's collaborating with others on, and he joins me now to tell me more about it. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. Nice to meet you.
Well, good to meet you too. And it's got one of my longtime friends, Robert Lane, involved in this project. So tell us a bit about what you've done so far.
We're about 2 years into the film now. We met in, when was it? January 2018 or 1918.
So 2 years on, and what's happened with the project so far?
We were about 2 nights away from finishing it, because it's a film that takes place at night all the way through. We were literally 2 nights away, and then lockdown started, and Robert's partner is, my wife now, is a nurse, and I think they both got the sniffles, and he phoned me up and said, I've got some bad news.
Oh dear.
And it's like, we can't film. So we were literally maybe even 1 night away from, just finishing shooting all the scenes that we needed. So we've done a cut with what we've got, and it's pretty much there. I mean, it would work as a movie now, and it does, but, I know the little scenes that I want to get just to make it as sweet as it can be. So, so we're about 2 years in, a year and a half, it'll be 2 years next January. From when we first met with Costa in the Neaton. So, it's just about shot and edited and graded, and we've got the trailer. So, yeah.
Okay,
close,
so give us a bit of background. Who are we talking about? What's the title?
The title is Sam and Dan Get Lost. It's a British road movie without the car.
Okay.
It stars Robert Lane and Richard Baldwin. They're 2 actors, and they're also, I'm sure you know, they're in an improvisational group called the Intellectuals. So there's kind of spaces in there for them to kind of do their thing, stir crazy style, I hope. So it's like a British After Hours, that Scorsese film with Griffin Dunn, where you've got two guys. It's a dark night of the soul, really. 2 guys who are a bit immature. I don't know that at the start. And then they kind of learn a few lessons as they go on their journey, like any good road movie, I guess.
And people very much looking forward to the release. Rob's, I know, involved in the music in there as well. So it's going to be a fantastic production. So how far away do you think you are now? Have you got anything set to get the last few scenes you want filming?
Because it's a night film, we met in the January, and we kind of devised the movie. And then we were shooting the end of January, start of Feb. So, because the idea was to have an autumn and a winter film. Yeah. Well, a winter film at the time. Something for us to do in the dark wee hours, where usually you'd be hibernating and sat on a couch watching reruns of Friends or whatever. So the idea was, let's do a movie that's set at night, and we'll make it a 2-hander. So there's, logistically, there's not that many kind of, cast and crew to get together. So we got to about May, and we weren't getting the darkness until about 10 o'clock. And of course, Rob and Rich were travelling from Birmingham to me here in the East Midlands, so they had an hour's journey at the start and the end of it all. So it just became impractical, really, to carry on filming. So we kind of waited until September rolled around, and then we just started again. And obviously lockdown started. Yeah. And Robert gave me the phone call. It was like, sorry, mate, I've got to self-isolate. And I was like, oh, do we really need to? I mean, he was absolutely right to, especially with the position that he was in. So, so that's kind of where we are with it at the moment. We've just finished, we've cut a trailer. As I say, it's like 98% of the film's shot. Yeah. So the trailer's cut, and the poster's been done by a great graphic artist friend of mine down in Devon. So we can actually start marketing it now, and that's kind of the next stage that we're all going to kind of get our heads behind. I've got a few distributor friends on Facebook that I'm obviously going to pester, and maybe a few film festivals, although they are getting expensive, and there's loads of them out there. So that's another minefield to go through. But yeah, it's the marketing side of things now. We're gonna, and obviously with the back of my mind thinking, as soon as autumn rolls around again, we can start to, just get those last few scenes.
Get the last bit sorted, and before you know it, you'll have a movie on your hands for early 2021 release.
Yeah, I mean, the copyright at the end of the movie, I've put it for 2021.
Just to be on the safe side, that's the way to do it. So where can we go to find out more and keep an eye on the project so we do know when it all happens?
Yeah, we've got a Facebook page. Robert's pestering me for a YouTube trailer so that he can share that, because I think he's got quite a good following, so he can share that all over the Twitterverse. Yeah, we reached about 8,000 people in the first week.
So that's good going.
With the trailer, so that's a good start. Roberts and I are going to get our head together, because he's been reading into it a little bit about how to build an audience initially just through social media, and then kind of building it up. So yeah, so just a Facebook page at the minute.
So what do we search for?
It's just Sam and Dan Get Lost, the movie, I think the Facebook page is.
Okay, give that a go. For now, though, until we get the big release in 2021, the red carpet treatment, etc., etc., I hope to be there for that one. Keep up the good work. We look forward to you being able to get the last few scenes in the can and enjoying the trailer as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Moose's Music Hole has been working on some great tunes during lockdown and is now COVID secure. Jamie Russon, the man behind the project, is with me now to tell me more. Hello, sir.
How you doing, Jason? You all right, mate?
I'm good. You keeping out of trouble?
Yeah, it's not been so bad. I mean, obviously, with the whole situation with the lockdown, all my gigs were cancelled and studio sessions were also cancelled. So, yeah. Not had many bookings, but I've been keeping myself busy, and I've tried to think outside the box a little bit, and I'm trying to just sort of give back really to the local music community by sort of hosting interviews with local bands and artists. Some who have gone on to have some real big success as well, which I thought would be nice for some of the smaller grassroots sort of level musicians, because I just think it's nice for them to hear those sort of stories from these more successful artists, you know.
It's all part of a journey. They don't know where on that journey they're going to be. They don't even know what the destination will be. But it's still important to get that creativity out there. And that's something that you do through Moose's Music Hole. And so even then, throughout all of this, you have been producing whilst you've been sort of left to it, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yeah. So there's been some projects that have come in that have purely been online, but I've also been trying to put an online course together as well for people, which I was initially looking to sell from my website, but now I've decided to make completely free. So if you're looking to gain a bit more knowledge in the world of audio, especially home recording, then by all means go and visit the website and have a look around in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
As I say, it's not actually been completed yet, but it'll be on there, be live within the next sort of couple of months. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
I just want to keep checking back on. And so you've been working with a number of artists, and the recording studio. I've seen things starting to change over there. What have you done to your studio setup?
As I say, I mean, from when I sort of went self-employed, which is around 2017. I've always been based from a garage. As I say, it is purely a home studio. And I sort of went through this whole process of sort of working with other bands, mainly free sessions to begin with, because I was still trying to build my portfolio. And although I'd worked on a lot of my own stuff, working with other bands and artists is a completely different kettle of fish. So obviously, I had a lot of sort of local bands come through the door and stuff, and it went from there really, and it's just grown and grown and grown, and I've got to the level now where I'm producing industry standard stuff, and that's why I want to try and get this message across, that you are able to do that based from home in an environment that isn't exactly acoustically treated like you will get in some of these bigger studios.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
there is a potential to do some amazing stuff, and we've seen over the years some songs that have been made at home in a home studio doing really well. I mean, the likes of Alex Day has got the highest placing independent single in his time with a track recorded at home. Was it Blue Boy, something like that, who in the 90s was one of the first to do a home produced record that got right to the top of the charts.
That's it, yeah. And like Billie Eilish as well, just won a Grammy, didn't she? And I know that wasn't actually mixed within her studio, but I know it was engineered there, and I think it was a brother Possibly I might be wrong on that, but I know she was working with someone that actually put the music together from a home studio, and then it was obviously sent off to be mastered by a bigger, more professional studio. But still, that in itself is a good feat for, you know, people based from home. So the possibilities are endless now. The technology is there. You just need the knowledge and the experience. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people, when they're first starting out, they have this mindset of like, no, you've got to go out and you've got to buy the big expensive gear in order to produce these, you know, big records. But that isn't the case, you know, and I know firsthand now. And the only reason I know that is, as I say, I've been through that process. Like, I remember listening to the first set of mixes in the car, do the old car test, and I'd sit there in the car going, oh, what is this? Am I even on the right path? Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm so glad that I stuck at it and I carried on. And yeah, you can achieve great things if you put the work in and you just keep, you know, plowing on through, like so.
Absolutely. Well, I say that with a decent computer, a sensibly priced sound card, and a bit of ingenuity, you can come up with all sorts of stuff these days.
Exactly. I mean, you obviously need some minimal bits of gear. You can't produce with nothing. You can't just produce out of thin air. You do need some minimal bits of gear, but it is pretty affordable nowadays. You know what I mean? And a lot of it's done in the box. So, you know, meaning within the computer for those that might not know.
So where can we go to find out more about what you're doing, who you've been talking to, and of course using your services, or maybe even been trained by you online?
So you can visit our website, which is www.musismusical.co.uk for all my previous work there, and there's a little bit of information about the studio and me and stuff. But if you're looking for more social content, then you can jump onto our Facebook page. There's loads of interviews and free audio production tips on there. So as I say, if you're looking to learn more from the world of audio, then by all means jump on the Facebook page and give us a follow. Yeah.
Well, Jamie, in the 11 years just over that I've known you, thank you for everything you've inputted. It's always been good to talk to you.
Have you still got that track on the Milk Bar, Jay?
It is still there and will remain so.
I keep telling you, I need to update that. I need to get a bigger, more productive version of that song, because every time I hear it, it's like, oh no.
Yes, it's good fun. 11 years ago, a couple of weeks ago. So you can work on a re-record. We'll look forward to hearing that. Meanwhile, Jamie, thank you for joining us.
No problem at all, mate. You take care. All right.
Somebody who's probably missing theatre more than most is somebody who both works in one and has a blog which discusses all things West End. Aaron James joins me now. Hello, sir.
Hello.
So obviously lockdown's not been easy for you, being a theatre blogger, because there's been no actual theatre to vlog about, but lots to say around the current situation. I know you've been working hard at the day job too in your world of social media. So what's really been happening for you over the last few months?
It's been mental. So I work as the social and PR manager for the Barn Theatre in Cirencester, and we're a 200-seat venue. So we're one of the tiniest theatres that's been running for about 2 years. So this has been crazy because obviously theatres that have existed for a long amount of time, they have the reserves, or they've had like funding for a long time and they've got this big audience, whereas a theatre that our big goal is to create new work that could maybe tour and transfer, and then it's kind of all come to a halt and being like, oh wow. And we had a Michael Mapergo play that was coming like a month after lockdown started, that should have been starting. So we had this massive show that was on its way, and then it just all got stuck in its tracks. So then we ended up starting. We're kind of known as a theatre that doesn't just say, okay, we'll go quiet and sort things out. We're a bit of a the fight and the fight or flight. So we became a live streaming service. So we ended up becoming pretty much like a TV station. So we ended up with amazing 12 episodes of Tweedy's Lost and Found, which was a children's show hosted and performed by Tweedy the Clown from Gifford Circus. Then we also got people that couldn't perform with Giffords this year on their tour, and they did this massive circus cabaret. Last night we did the Barn Presents the music of Amos and Clements. So we do every other week we do this big musical theatre concert where we celebrate British musical theatre composers, and we have West End stars like Amy Atkinson, Jodie Steele, etc. perform. pretty mental, but it's just been weird.
Yeah.
To say the
And
least.
you've done all this from your current base in Wolverhampton as well, in the main part, because you're a local lad, and you've been working around the country on this. I know that you've lived in London in the past and worked in theatre down there, and also you've been part of the Disney family, which is the reason why we see so many Mickey Mouse around you at the moment. But there's a lot of people working remotely from their usual places, and that's been an interesting way of doing things as well. And the theatre from somewhere like the Barn in Cirencester wouldn't normally necessarily peak on the profile for most people in Wolverhampton, but it is now something which everyone can join in with.
Yeah, massively. It's been quite funny when talking to people and going, when we're talking about the Barn on emails or on a phone call, and I'm like, yeah, just to let you know, I'm currently based in Wolverhampton, while everybody's there, and people are like, what? I'm like, yeah. But it's actually worked really well, surprisingly. I guess because most of my job has always been online.
Yeah.
So you can move the location and it doesn't really change much.
But you're missing actually seeing theatre yourself, though. That must be the worst part of it.
Yeah, it's really weird because when I lived in London, I was seeing like 6 shows a week or something crazy like that because of working and helping promote shows, and it's just been kind of weird being this little bubble of trying to immerse myself in as much theatre as I can, whereas I'm not in a theatre. But I guess that's been the great thing to see, like, shows that I really loved when I got to see it, and I wished more people could see it. And now we can do that. So, like how the Old Vic put a Monster Calls out for everyone, and currently the National is streaming the Bridge Theatre's Midsummer Night's Dream, which I loved when I saw it, and I'm glad other people get to see this, because I think one of the hardest things with theatre has always been accessibility, and the fact that so many people miss out on it. So, and it's a good way to introduce people to why they should love theatre, or actually theatre is for them when they don't think it is. And I think I found that with our stuff, because when I've been looking at where people are watching from, we've had international, we've had people from Madagascar watching. Like, you could name the country and I've probably seen the name come up. Like, I think we've had Zimbabwe, and then we've had people in America, and just all these people from around the world. Japan, Australia, they're just all coming back now. But yeah, it's been amazing to see how, if you'd have asked me a few months ago that we'd have an international impact, or like people around the world would be watching stuff, I'd be like, but now it's like, yeah, sure. This is the power of things like YouTube and Facebook, and
it's really come into its own over the last few months, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And really, a lot of this could have been done ages before, but people just didn't have the time to think about it, or didn't really see the value of it. But now it's like, I expect things like this to carry on regardless of when theatre comes back. I think everybody's got this realisation that, one, we can't do all this work now and then just leave it and not carry on with it. But also, we kind of need to be prepared in case whatever comes next, because, you can't control what's going to happen in the world, or what, or the kind of the natural side. And this is the way that we can elevate theatre to a point. I mean, the whole buzz is currently about Hamilton going on Disney Plus next week, and that's the musical recording, not a film. It's the original cast. So it's cool to see theatres kind of making that impact. It's just now getting people to understand that although we're putting out all this good content, the theatres might not actually survive themselves. Yeah,
it needs to be monetised in some way when it's going online. There's some people have started to be able to do that. Sponsorship's a wonderful way of doing it. People want to be associated with the arts, that's great, but certainly needs something more of an income stream, because the whole point of TV and film being so expensive to watch is because it's so expensive to produce. But if you spread that burden over more people, it brings that cost down. And theatre is, sometimes some people say, it's not as accessible due to the price of it, but you are getting a very unique product and a unique performance every time. However polished a show is, actually the version you see only happens when you see it, and that is the joy of theatre, and why it's so important that carries on in the form that we know and love. So, I mean, when it comes down to your socials, where can we find out what you're doing, not only through the barn, but also what you have going on in your personal world as well?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me at Aaron James UK on Instagram and Twitter. I think there's a Facebook page that, yeah, there is somewhere. Also check out West End Picnic and the Barn Theatre. They're pretty much all of those things, and you'll find a little bit of a me somewhere.
And when he does come back to the West End returning, I assume that you'll be nipping over to see a few shows as soon as you can.
Oh gosh, yeah, totally. There's a list of shows that I think this time's given me more time to know what shows I'd like to see more.
Chance to research.
Yeah, literally, and the fact that we're getting like little bits more of shows that maybe we've not heard as much about. And there's loads of kind of new composers and new performers that I'm now going to be championing because I've learned about them in this weird world.
And always good to catch up with you. Look forward to seeing you hopefully at the show at the Grand very soon. But for now, keep up the good work and keep busy on those socials.
Thanks. Speak soon.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Back with episode 576 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.